Okay, welcome to another video where I'm basically just remaking an old video that was really cringy, and hopefully it's not going to be as cringy this time. So today I want to talk about a few things that have helped me gain a lot of confidence, like appearance-wise. This probably isn't really going to help you with like public speaking or something like that, but these are things that have helped me be more confident in myself and hopefully can help you as well. I think one of the problems with a lot of the solutions to lack of confidence these days is that people are sharing and promoting these short-term solutions. Like, just an example is that if you're insecure about the way that your eyebrows look, you filling them in every day, it's just a short-term solution and it doesn't really address the actual problem. It just kind of covers it up. And so what I really tried to do when I was first learning to be confident, because I used to be really insecure, and I'm not saying I'm like 100% confident now, because I'm totally not. It's a lifelong process. It's gradual. But when I was in like middle school and I was trying to be more confident because I felt really insecure about myself, I tried to do all these short-term things that didn't ever fix the problem. And it wasn't until I did these things, which I'm going to talk about, that I really began to actually have confidence that doesn't go away. It's not like up and down all the time, like, oh, I feel so bad about myself and now I feel good because I look prettier. That's not how it is. And so that's really what I feel like is the kind of confidence building skills that people should be focusing on. So number one, I found that one thing that helped me so much when I was first trying to gain real confidence was not looking at myself in the mirror as much. The reason this is so helpful, I feel like, is because when we're constantly looking in the mirror, every single time we pass the mirror, we look in it, we make sure our eyebrows look all right, our eyelashes, like our makeup isn't smudged, or our hair looks okay, or our clothes are just right. When we're doing that, it's just bringing our appearance to the top of our mind over and over and over throughout the day. And when your appearance is something that's on your mind all the time, you're more likely to pick apart every little thing that you think is wrong or not good enough about it. But what I found, at least from when I tried to look in mirrors way less, is that for example, one thing I did was I have this kind of wall mirror in my room that just sits against the wall, and I turn it around, and I always used to look at that. And after I turn it around, and of course tried to look in other mirrors less, I realized that I wasn't concerned about the way I looked as much. Now, it wasn't like I was hiding from myself, or like, I didn't want to look at myself because I thought I was so ugly. That's not what it's about. It's just that when you're not constantly seeing yourself, you're less likely to think about what you look like. And this also goes for like taking pictures and selfies as well. I mean, obviously if you're like with your friends, take a group picture, but if you're sitting there with your phone taking like a million selfies every day, that's really not productive. That's not going to help you pretty much in any way in life. And again, it just brings your appearance to the top of your mind. And when you're trying to gain confidence, I really think that it's a good idea to start out by trying not to think about it as much and just see how your life kind of changes with that. Because you might start to realize, oh, I didn't check a mirror 5 times today to make sure my mascara was all good, and I was fine. Like, my day went by smoothly, I survived. It wasn't as bad as I ever thought, because something that I definitely experienced at a time in my life was that I always wanted to make sure I was looking all right. And so by trying not to look in the mirror, I think it's a really good first step. But that doesn't mean you should avoid them for the rest of your life, because after a period of time you just stop caring. And that's really what it's about overall, is that you just stop caring, or at least I have. And now if I pass a mirror, I'm not tempted to look in it. I don't have to say oh no, Anna, you can't look in that mirror. I just don't need to anymore. I don't need to reassure myself that I look okay. Number 2 is to unfollow certain accounts on social media that you find yourself comparing your looks to the person, whatever it is. This is another thing that is this day and age a huge problem, is that people follow celebrities or models, or sometimes even just people who you kind of know, like you go to school with, online, on social media, and you just spend so much time scrolling and comparing yourself for really no reason. just think of how do you benefit from scrolling through Instagram and looking at all these pretty Instagram models and thinking, wow, I wish my butt looked like hers. I wish my hair was the same color as hers. I wish this and that. It really doesn't bring you anything positive. So I definitely recommend going through your social media accounts, like everyone that you have, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, whatever, and looking, kind of thinking about each person that you follow. Like obviously if they're close friends or family, you don't have to unfollow them. But if you just follow some Victoria's Secret model because you think she's pretty and that's like, I don't know, fitness inspiration for you. I have a whole video on exercise that if you're the kind of person who follows like fitness people to get fitness inspiration, I highly recommend you check out. I'll link it in whatever side it comes up on. Personally, I don't think you should get fitness inspiration from wanting to look like other people. I think there's so many other good reasons to exercise. But anyways, look at each person you follow and ask yourself, is me following this person really benefiting my life? Am I really being inspired or educated or motivated by this person? Or of course, like if they're friends or whatever. I bet so many people watching this could get rid of a lot of people that they follow and really benefit from that. Or you could just delete an entire social media account or delete the app from your phone or whatever works for you. But this is another thing, just like the previous tip, that when you stop following these kinds of people that you just compare yourself to, you're less likely to be focused on your appearance all the time. And this can help you get away from always comparing yourself and kind of judging and criticizing yourself. And so if you do this for like a good amount of time and you really gain that confidence that you need, you'll be able to look at these accounts of like Instagram models and not care and not feel that same like, oh, I'm not good enough feeling. Because that's kind of what has happened for me. I used to, compare myself to so many people, and now those same exact people, I can like go to their accounts and not feel that same sort of feeling where I don't think I'm good enough or I wish I looked like them. So the next thing is to stop changing your appearance to try to get this feeling of confidence. And this is a gradual process. It does not have to be all at once. I have, I guess, kind of been on this journey for like over 3 years now maybe, and I'm still doing things. For example, like a few months ago, maybe like 6 to 12, I don't know, I stopped like plucking my eyebrows. I never really plucked them to a certain shape, but I have, you can't really see it on camera, but just like random little stragglers out there. And I just stopped because I was like, why am I doing this? And guess what? My life has not gotten worse. No one probably cares. I know I don't care. I don't notice it that often. And when I do notice it, it doesn't evoke any sort of negative feeling within me. I'm not like, oh no, that looks bad, I gotta change that. But my whole journey with this really, I think, started with me, for example, not doing my hair as much. I used to straighten my hair every day. Straighten my straight hair. But I used to make it straighter, and I stopped doing that. And I stopped wearing clothing that I basically just wore to fit in. Like I just wore the same types of things that everyone else at my school was wearing, and I just started wearing comfy things, and I'm still to this day just wearing comfy things. And I also stopped wearing makeup. That was a gradual thing for me. I didn't like just go cold turkey overnight. I kind of just decreased how much I used. I'd put on a little less foundation every day, and it might have taken me a few weeks to like a month to completely cut it out of my life. I can't remember. Again, when you're spending time every day, or maybe every few days a week, I don't know, when you're spending that time focused on like, okay, I gotta get my mascara looking good, gotta do my eyebrows good, gotta make sure my foundation is hiding my acne, you're just focusing on what's not good enough about me and how I need to change it so that I can feel prettier and look prettier and be more confident. And like I kind of said earlier, confidence isn't about changing how you look so that you look more like you want to. That's not confidence. It might feel like it, like it certainly feels like it, but it's not, because when you take your makeup off at the end of the day and you go back to not feeling confident, you've really only given yourself a few hours of confidence. That's not long term. And in my experience at least, that's nowhere near as confident as you can feel, because even when I thought I looked the prettiest, when I wore like some makeup look and like my favorite outfit or did my hair some fancy way, that confidence that I felt is nowhere near what I feel now. And that leads me to my next one, which is to understand that your value as a human being does not lie in your appearance. And when you really realize that, when you take that more from like a thing where, oh, I get that, you know, I agree with that, to really realizing that statement, your value does not lie in your appearance, then you can really start to gain true confidence that is lasting, that you don't wash off at the end of the day. That's not only there when you're wearing something fancy or when your hair is all done or when you're, you know, anything like that. It's not about how you look. And that's like the misconception that I feel like is at least one of the reasons why so many people lack confidence, because how you look does not make you confident. It's about how you view how important the way you look is. When I look in the mirror, I don't need to call myself pretty. I don't need to say, wow, Anna, you look beautiful today. And that might be something that really helps people at the beginning. If you're in such a kind of like a low state where you are really experiencing a lot of self-hatred or just negativity towards yourself, maybe that's a good way to start. You know, if you're looking in the mirror and you say, I'm so ugly, like I don't deserve to be happy because I'm too fat or I'm too skinny or I'm too this or I'm too that, then maybe it is a good first step to change that to, I am beautiful, I'm okay just the way I am. That might not be a step some people will want to take or need to take, but I think that is a good thing for some people. But also know that that should just be kind of like an intermediary stage where you're going from calling yourself ugly to calling yourself beautiful to understanding that it really doesn't matter if you're ugly or if you're beautiful externally. That's not where your value lies. And so when you look in the mirror, like years down the road, when you've really gotten, I guess, a long ways in your confidence journey, that might be a terrible way to describe it, but when you've gotten to a place where you really feel confident, you won't look in the mirror and say, I'm ugly. You won't look in the mirror and say, I'm pretty. You'll look in the mirror and understand that what's looking back at you isn't you. It's just your body. It doesn't define who you are. It doesn't define your value. When you learn not to identify with your external appearance, you're kind of free from it in a way. It doesn't have to look any certain way. You don't have to look in the mirror and say, you're ugly, because it's not you, it's your body. And I get that that's kind of like a weird concept for some people maybe. It definitely was for me at a time. You are not your body. And I have a whole video that if you're really interested in this kind of stuff, if you really want to gain some confidence, you know, I highly recommend checking that out. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever made. I think it can be really impactful for a lot of people. So I'll link that wherever it is. And the last thing I just want to kind of reiterate is that this is a gradual process. Do not feel like, oh, I'm not gaining confidence quick enough, I'm doing something wrong, this isn't working, or like, I'm never gonna be confident. That kind of negative self-talk doesn't work, doesn't solve any problems. It's gonna take a while. Learning to be more okay with who you are and what you look like is a lifelong journey, and it's not going to come to an end. You're not gonna get to a place where you can say, okay, I made it, I'm good, now I'm super confident and don't have to work on it anymore. That's not gonna happen. You know, maybe just start with like one of the things I talked about. Maybe start with unfollowing models on Instagram. It doesn't have to be anything big at the start. Just do it gradually, because that, in my opinion, for most people is the most sustainable way to do it. Sustainability is way more important than like getting it done fast and doing all these things at once, and then it's just kind of overwhelming, and so then go back to your old habits and practices. So yeah, just go easy on yourself. So for today's quote, it's actually going to be something that I said myself, I guess, my own quote. Instead of changing the way your body looks, change the way you look at your body.